So, hello everyone, wanted my review of episode 115, last week of Black Clover, of course, and also news that Black Clover is delayed today. So, yeah, happy news everyone, and of course, happy New Year's means usually anime delayed, right? As I was, people expect this, right? Not too much to discuss, really, I feel. It's the same with happened yet, Girls Day also delayed, right? So, it's pretty common, right? Animes aren't really broadcasted on New Year's Eve, as they have different kind of other, schedule and other stuff to show, right? And New Year's specials and so on, right? So that's it for the episode. Right? So there will be no new episode today. Episode 116 is instead airing on 7th January. Yeah, January the 7th. Should be back on the same time, January the 7th. And with that episode, of course, we'll be continuing on the Devil, on the Akuma, on the Demon storyline. So anyway, yeah, let's review it. I didn't have time to review it last week, so I want to review it here too. Up the video and reviewing it. So, because I have been thinking about this for a long time, right? Of course, I called out that Ron was going to be the traitor like half a year ago. I saw him in the open, like, man, that guy's back to everyone else, and he's clearly evil. Have you ever seen open for your life? The Clover opens are very, very telling, right? Especially the newest one, we see like Fana and Wedless one. But even without that, it's like, no. You see a guy with his back turned to everyone else. Clearly traitor. So I want to discuss a lot of things that I saw, of course. Last episode was, and also some points that. So generally, kind of the storyline that I expected was true, right? If you follow my early reviews the past year, that of course the humans weren't really behind it. I've been saying that probably for like, I don't know, a year probably more, right? Probably since Vito's backstory, yeah. It was pretty clear from the beginning, right? I think everyone is agreed that clearly someone else was controlling either the humans or they were doing it. I think the biggest thing is that in each flashback of the event of the Red Wedding, right? Every damn event time that you see this lightning coming down. You see that lightning from, of course, the king, right? Because he has a lightning magic. But each time you see that, you never see the king, right? You never actually saw the king. You only saw them like, oh, we got shot by lightning magic, yeah. And you never actually saw the king. So, ready from that, it was like, yeah, it probably wasn't the king. Even if they keep claiming it's the king, but you never see the king, right? So it's always like a little suspicious on that notion, right? And yes, they had a flashback that the humans did it anyway. It was kind of like, wait, what? But as I said during that flashback a few episodes ago, I was like, no, this isn't true. Yes, the humans were probably involved, but they weren't actually doing it. Someone was doing it, and of course the demon was doing it. So I felt that the reveal was just kind of filling in the blanks that we kind of expected to be true, right? It wasn't really a surprising reveal, in my opinion. I think, yeah, it wasn't really like, whoa, that's the truth. It's more like, yeah, that makes sense. It was more like that, in my opinion. As episodes, like, yeah, you can, yeah, it fits, but it fits, yeah, something like that, right? So I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm not. Honestly, I'm not like, wow. I'm not amazed either, right? It's not that kind of anime where you have suddenly it's like, oh, that's a twist. That being said, though, I think it's gonna come in later, right? And, I think it's gonna come later because there still is a few blanks left, right? I'll talk about them. There still is a little bit like, well, he said that thing, but that didn't explain that thing. So I think that last episode kind of gave you kind of like, here are the puzzle bits that you pretty much expect to be true anyway. So let's just confirm them. Yes, this is true. This is true. This is true. Okay, bam, bam, bam. Okay, that's true. But we haven't explained the big demon thing, right? That we always start episode with. Every episode starts with the king, right? The first king killing the massive demon thing, right? The three eyes, probably like a dark elf that you saw now, right? With Patoli and so on, right? So that's not explained. So we have other stuff that the anime hasn't explained yet. And I think I would think that Tabata, so the author, mangaka, I think he will probably like twist a bit, right? Yeah, I think he's giving us the expected information now. It's like, yeah, you're right with this thing, obviously, yeah. And then it's like, but probably that's my guess at least. So for example, I think that's the biggest thing, right? We still have no idea why we have this big, massive thing coming, right, in the backstory, and I still think that's probably Lich, right? I said it earlier too, right? It's probably Lich, or it's like Lich combining the bodies of the dead people, something like that, right? Some kind of sacrifice, perhaps, right? Because he's clearly doing something, right? When he's holding his wife, screaming us. He probably very much turned into a dark elf, right? Or a raw elf, whatever you call it, yeah, as you saw with Patoli. And then he either, I think, fused the body, I think that, or he's turned into that big thing. I think that's like the obvious thing. And also, there'll be the classic, tragedy, right? If he's turned into the big thing himself, then his best friend is the king has to kill him, right? So it's like a traumatic event for the king having to kill his best friend and so on. So I think that's to me feels, that's probably how it happened, right? Especially seeing the dark elf thing last episode there. And one interesting thing then with the explanation there though from the demon is that if you have, turn into like a dark elf, or no, actually no, well yes, dark elf, but not necessarily though, right? He explains, I think, one interesting detail, which is probably for me, there's a two thing coming to Demon 2 as well, but yeah, I think the biggest thing for me probably, so the Demon number 2 then, yeah, is that if you have a 4 clover, you can turn into a 5 clover, right? Yeah, the Demon explains that not only is it like, this and 5 clover has a demon inside of it, as, we know with Asta from the beginning of the story, right? But it explains that you can actually turn any 4 clover into a 5 clover, right? Yeah, anything can go from 4 to 5 as long as you turn into this massive, basically, awaken your Sharingan, yeah. In that terms, turn into your magical Sharingan, yeah. Get something, the depressive, some kind of absurd emotional event for you, right? Emotional rage and anger and depression and all that good sorrow and so on. If that happens to you, then you get that 5 clover, right? And then you also get a demon. So that I think was a big reveal. That to me at least is the biggest reveal. And it also kind of coincides with the other reveal that you can also, there's more than one demon, right? Yeah. So everyone with the 5 clover has one demon each, right? Not only what we know, Asta has a 5 clover, and then Patoli now then, right? But his demon is kind of the demon that's doing it. So he take it immediately, yeah. But that also means that you don't necessarily need to be an elf, I suppose. You haven't seen any other people getting a 5 clover though, but maybe, humans and dwarfs and so on, or witches can have a 5 clover, right? As long as they have a 4 clover. He kind of says it like elf and dark elves, but to me, that wasn't really, maybe only elves can awaken it, but I don't know. I felt he kind of was like, it felt like he meant everyone can do it, even though he didn't really explain, in details. But yes, I think everyone can. Probably humans can turn into it later on as well, and so on. So that definitely could be a big plot, right? That humans also can discover their inner demons and so on, and also generally getting a 5 clover if they have a 4 clover, right? The king and so on could have maybe so on. Right? Yeah, maybe the king's alive with a demon, right? Who knows? Yeah. But anyway, so that's one big thing, right? And he explains that his whole backstory is like, well, I needed a freaking 5 clover, right? I can't get out to the world, right? So that's what I gave Lich a 5 clover. By killing all the elves, he got a 5 clover, and I could then, awaken, right, for real. Because I need a 5 clover to be, like, in the human world or in my full powers or whatever, yeah. I need that thing, yeah. So that's why he did the whole, on the wedding day, right? Not just because he wants to kill elves, but he wants to actually get a 5 clover created, right? So that's a big deal of it. And also then really coincides again with that Lich clearly turning into a dark elf in that backstory. Again, probably turning into the big thing, right? Because he got the dark elf and the 5 clover treatment. But I think this also gives fuel for my general theory I have for a long time now, right? Probably for heavy or something like that. That of course Asta is Lich reborn, right? So we know that most characters, every damn elf has like a new life, right? Every damn elf is inside a new body, right? And they're kind of similar. I think mostly similar is like Gouts, right? He's like pretty much the same person. Yeah, he's the same douchebag and he has an elf, right? Yeah, and is obsessed with his sister, right? I love that Black Clover when the evil Gush is like, oh, a lot of thoughts of my sister. This human is all right. He's like, oh yeah, my human he's a good guy. He was a great guy, yeah. So they're pretty much the same persons, right? More or less, right? But they're kind of like, angry, and they have that kind of like, the angry depression, demon infused thing and so on, right? In them, right? Yeah. But otherwise, they're very similar personalities. So it's literally like Asta then. But, not just the personality, but the books, of course. They have the Grimoire and have the same similar, powers, but the elf are better at using it and have more mana. And afterwards, we see that basically every human has been turned into an elf. Power-ups afterwards, which I think makes sense, yeah. They kind of they see how the elf was better using their magic. So after they get, purified from the elves, they're like, oh, I could do this thing now because he showed me how, my magic could be, better shaped and so on, right? So yeah, so that makes sense. And of course, then why is Asta having Lich book, right? Yeah, because Lich didn't have the light magic, Lich had the sword magic, right? I think at the beginning of the anime, or the beginning, we kind of have 30, 40 episodes, it kind of, showed that Lich was having the light magic, right? But no, he can get light magic, yeah, so a hint into that, but no, of course, it's sword magic, but anyway, we all know that. But, of course, Asta here has sword magic, right? Lich has sword magic, and I think that, for me at least, I would be very surprised if the reason Asta has the demon, right, or that actually the 5 Clover then, is not because he didn't get, it's of course because he got Lich book, right? Lich had the 5 Clover and the sword magic, right? He died, his book, he recorded, he's, reborn, recorded, added to Asta. Asta had having a 5 Clover sword book, right, instead of having a 4 Clover sword book, and that explains that how a human who doesn't have, massive depression and so on, has the 5 Clover, right? So I think that's, for me at least, that's a no-brainer. I think that has to be the case. I've been saying for a long time now that Asta is clearly, Lich reborn, but they couldn't give his body because he's anti-magic, so they couldn't, infuse Lich into him. And of course, why does he have a 5 Clover? Well, because Lich book turned into a 5 Clover in the, when he turned into Dark Elf, right? And then he died and so on, and then Asta got the book, right? I think that makes perfect sense to me. And that's my general theory, of course. I think that's going to happen, and it's going to be revealed eventually. That's why Asta has and so on. But this comes into the second demon, though, which I think was the second biggest reveal, or kind of like a, simultaneous reveal, right? Yes. That surprised me. Not too much, but I was like, oh yeah, see, yeah. I was kind of like, I wasn't sure of that before, but yeah, that's confirmed, that's right. So yeah, Asta has his own demon, right? Yeah. So the first demon, he was of course behind everything, but he created a 5 Clover, and having a 5 Clover means that demon will enter your body, right? It's basically like a portal to hell, right? You get the portal to hell, yeah. Every role has a 5 Clover against 1 demon each, right? That wasn't really it was confirmed in this episode now. I think that's a big deal then. So he said that, okay. So I created the 5 Clover 5 years ago, killed the guy had died, so you have the 5 Clover now, but he couldn't enter that 5 Clover, it's already in the world, whatever, yeah. So another demon now is inside Asta. That's a big deal. So that means that, as I mentioned earlier, if you create a lot of 5 Clovers, you get more demons, right? Yeah, because each 5 Clover can have like 1 demon each, right? So the whole episode 1, kind of the typical premise that it says to develop a demon in the 5 Clover is 100% true, right? Yeah, there seems to be literally a demon per 5 Clover book. So that was interesting. And also I felt, what I realized in this episode was that, the demon, right, the big demon, this guy who has been plotting everything, he's like, hey man, get out of the book, I'm gonna kill you now. Yeah, like he doesn't even know who that demon is. That's interesting. I liked it, yeah, I like that. He wasn't even aware who was the other demon. He was like, yeah, you clearly have a demon there, boy, but I don't even know his name. Yeah, it's like, so, do you have some kind of conflict there, right? Maybe, right? He doesn't even know who he is. He's like, no, you're probably my enemy. Yeah, so that was interesting. And of course, I'm thinking, typical demonic stuff, right? As with like every other fantasy, or not so much anime, I suppose, but because anime, yeah, they have demons and so on, but they don't really go into like demonic stuff. Like, but if you watch anything, let's say like Supernatural, Lucifer, whatever, any like Western TV show with supernatural demon stuff, a thing that's always occurring is, that, yeah, demons, they have like inner conflicts, right? Always, Diablo, so yeah. If you play any Western stuff, they'll have a lot of, demonic, supernatural stuff, right? I mean, in general. And it's very, very common, right? Marvel, yeah, oh god, Marvel, so many inner conflicts, right? They have like, 7 demon lords or more at least, and they're always fighting and so on, right? Yeah, so that, I'd be extremely surprised, I think they were for that. So extremely surprised if Asta's demon doesn't hate this demon, right? Because that's how demon is, yeah. I'm thinking like, I would be very, very, yeah, because that's how demons are. They're always like, I am evil myself, I want to control the world, screw you. Yeah, that's how they always act, right? So I would be very, very surprised if this demon Asta has isn't like, let's kill that guy, he's a bad demon, I'm a good demon, boy, yeah. So I could, I think that's going to be one of the key notes here, how to beat the current big baddie, right? Because Asta's demon is clearly going to be like, well, he wants to control the world, I want to control the world. Let's kill him, yeah. So he's probably going to have some, some moments with Asta, right? potentially. Not necessarily like going into full cube mode and explaining to him, oh, this is the backstory, let me explain how there. But more, maybe it's like, no, let me give you a little more mana, boy, right? Or, mana, but something, let me give you a little more demonic infusion here. Something that is probably going to happen. And I think that really makes, for me at least, it makes perfect sense, even if it doesn't say anything. It's just like, let's get stronger, right? Yeah, because, demons are always fighting, right? They're always in interconflict with each other. They never cooperate, except with like lesser demon. You have some kind of imp demons that follow the bigger demon, right? Yeah, but like the bigger guys, and if the students are kind of equal in strength, right? They never cooperate. That's never going to happen, I think. So I think that makes. So I'm expecting Asta definitely to power up during, maybe next episode, maybe during this battle related to this arc, Asta will definitely get more demon powers. That would be. Yeah, again, I would be extremely surprised if Asta doesn't get more demon powers. Basically, because his demon is going to be like, I want to kill that demon, yeah. So, and I think that makes sense, right? Now we know that there are two completely different individuals. They don't even know each other. Well, that's interesting too, though. Who knows? It could be cool if Asta's demon has his own, plan again, that he was like, I was a weird hit not long, so I was, yeah. Who knows, right? Because main big demon, right? Plotter demon. He doesn't know, Asta's demon, right? But Asta's demon might know him, right? He's like, oh yeah, what you did there 500 years ago, I want to get in on that, or I want to stop you, whatever. Yeah. So he might know everything perfectly, right? He might know his name and so on, right? So it's a little bit undecided there, but I think that's definitely the biggest plot point right now, right? Who is Asta's demon? What is his plan? So, and also then, can you get more demons by just creating more 5 floors? But it seems to be like you need a really tragic event, right? Like, I have to kill your whole family, your whole race. I murder your whole race, turn into demon. Yeah, you have to like do something really bad, right? But I think Patoli, though, I don't know, he's more, oh, you tricked me for all these years? I don't know, yeah, that felt kind of like, did he really feel the same rage as Lich did? Because he was like, he's just stupid more than, yeah, no, Patoli, you fool. But yeah, that's interesting at least. I think it's going to be a lot of, I think that's a key still, right? Asta's own demon. But yeah, and also he had interesting powers. He had a very OP power. Word magic. Yeah, I say something and it happens. But I felt that was very similar to, actually, in my opinion, to Dort's power. Yeah, to Dort, this magical fantasy world. It's less fluffy. It's less like, wholesome, fluffy, whimsical. Like, yeah, definitely not whimsical. It's more like, I summon spikes. Yeah, spike and blood and so on. Yeah, it's more like that. And she's more like, sharks with fags are cute. Yeah, so they're very different, like visually, but isn't that kind of the same magic? I mean, her magic is worse because she has to open like the dream world. It's just like, I can just create a dream world at this location. But in my opinion, he seems to be quite similar to that classic, fantasy spell. Like, like we have the character in Bleach, we have the character in Fairy Tail and so on. Basically, the character that he's like, I imagine a machine gun. Oh yeah, like that kind of character, imagining stuff. Right? I imagine that I'm stronger than you, so I win. But yeah. It's kind of like that, right? He's like, it's like that old game, yeah. He's like, I ride this thing, I get this weapon, yeah. It's kind of like that, or he says something and it happens. So it feels like it's, limited to his fantasy, his imagination, right? If he summons something like stronger, I summon a billion, ton heavy stuff in your body. You can't move anymore, yeah. A gravity, because like I say the word gravity, right? So his powers are like limitless in that sense, but also very limited, because if he's not very imaginative, it's gonna be crap. So it's probably something weird. I feel that a problem. I have to say that I'm not a big fan of the kind of magic, right? Same with Dorothy. I'm not a big fan. Her magic is more like whimsical, and you kind of feel like it's like kind of half nerfed because she kind of like, I want to do like a fish, yeah. Like it's nerfed by her being too nice, right? Yeah. His powers are, how will you say it? He really shouldn't be able to be defeated, right? Maybe by anti-magic, I suppose, though. But everyone else should lose to him easily. He can say anything he wants and he will just die, right? Yeah, he's like 10 times gravity, never wrong. Oh, you're dead. Yeah, okay, move anymore. Yeah, he would be able to say basically anything, and he'd be like, I can't move. Yeah, like, and whatever. He can do crazy stuff, right? And they should really easily defeat anyone. But he's not gonna do that because plot, I guess, mainly. Yeah, mainly because of the storyline. but also because he's like, while I have plotted for over 500 years, probably like 1,000 years of genius mastermind plotting, I'm not that good when it comes to creative magic, you know. It's gonna be something stupid like that, right? Even though it's gonna be explained like that, but it's gonna be that his word magic should really be a lot stronger than he's using it, right? Like, you can use a magic, what you could do with the magic, you defeat everyone in his anime, right? Easily. So it's just, that's the problem with this kind of imaginary kind of fighter guys, because they always have still very limited with fighting, and it's never the good guy. It's always the bad guy having this power. It's never the good guy. Yes, Dort's the good guy. I suppose know that, but when they fought her, it's just bad, right? Yeah, it's never the good guy having it as a main character, because you know it would be so OP, right? Yeah, because the bad guys are more easy to explain when they're limited, right? They have some kind of issues. They're either too pride or too, you know, childish or whatever. They have some kind of issues, but they can't use the magic to the full extent, right? So that's how this magic always works. You have to give someone some kind of mental limitation, right? Whereas they would just defeat everyone so easily when they can use imagine stuff, yeah. Like especially the the Bleach guy. It's all about not believing in himself. Yeah, oh god, the fight is so ridiculous. That fight's even where he has pure imagination power, where he can literally do anything. Yeah, this is ridiculous, but whatever. If you read Bleach, you know what I'm talking about. That guy was like, he was the epiphany kind of version of how not to do fantasy, and also how to do them, because he's fighting the best character in Bleach, right? And it just works because it's him, right? So I want to spoil Bleach, but it is. And the one way I hate that fight, and I also love it, because it's just so stupidly good. That's just stupidly good. And I feel that fighting this guy with a similar power is going to be maybe a similar way, or it's going to overpower him. But then why can't you say, like, word, give me, you know, an armor around me that's impregnable. Oh yeah, like, why can't you just create better stuff around himself, right? So I feel that power is incredibly OP, and fitting for a bad guy, as always. This is a bad guy power. But it's probably gonna be a little silly how to defeat him. Not because they're not gonna defeat what he's saying, because I mean, let's be experienced anyway. I mean, I can live with Asta and Yun and so on defeating what he's summoning. Yeah, sure, they can defeat that. The problem is what he's summoning, right? So it's not that they're managed defeating it. That's fine, because he's gonna say, like, you know, oh, I summoned this thing, I wore this thing out, and they're like, bam. It's destroyed now, yeah. That's probably gonna happen, that's fine. The problem is, why is he saying, you know, better words, right? Yeah. Why is his words, why is his vocabulary so limited? That's the problem. So I rather feel that episode like it has badass power, but at the same time, why is so limited vocabulary? So that's gonna be the issue, right? But anyways, that's the review, and yeah, see you guys next week then with Black Clover, episode 116, released on 7th January. Should be a little in the same time. I just looked at the countdown time. I think it released exactly the same time, yeah. So no difference from what usually is. And they might change time, right? Because New Year's 30 minutes from now. No, so it is the same. Yeah, I should be back on the same schedule for 2020. Yeah. So I will see you guys and have a great day. Well, Happy New Year! Happy New Year! It's Happy New Year's. Early in the morning, I'm like, oh yeah, it's New Year's. That's true. I'm gonna go out, but that's like 12. I'm gonna go out in about 20 hours from now, almost. No, whatever. Later tonight, yeah. Have a great Happy New Year's.